fun, so I'm going to do a little video showing you exactly how I fill out my budget form. I'm also going to share the blank form below so that you can have those if you would like to use them as well. But I know filling out a form and creating the budget's a little overwhelming, so I just want to show you around about how I do that. Okay, so this here is my form, and I'm just going to show you how I fill it out here, and I'll talk to you a little bit as I do it. So you just want to put your month in, whatever month you're budgeting for. We'll start with January. And my categories are income, savings, what else do I have here? Food, insurance, if I can spell, monthly bills, and I'll go over to the other side of this form. It's just printing the form twice, but I have a front and a back. And so, again, we'll just put January in here. You don't have to fill that in again if you don't want. Finish my items here, which is clothing, transportation / gas. I always, well, this used to be a debts column, but I no longer will have that, but that's absolutely there for you. So I might think of something else I want to put there, but we'll just leave that there for now. And then I have a miscellaneous, if I even spelled that right. And then personal, which I'll get into what my personal ones are. So those are just all my items. And then in the bottom here, I just write in total monthly pay, total spent, and then total, which I'll get into explaining that. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning and how you create your budget. So the income, I would just put Dan and then write for myself. And the budget is just an estimate about how much you think you're going to bring home that month. You always want to go on the lower end and budget on a lower end. That way you actually will have more to put towards your snowball debt when you actually make a little bit more money. So we'll budget in $2,000 for Dan and $2,000 for myself. And at the end of the month, you want to actually put in how much that Dan brought home total or I brought home total. And we'll just say Dan brought home that much. And if you want to, you can jot yourself some notes. We'll say he did some overtime, which hopefully he will work some overtime. And for me, we'll say I was a little overachiever too, and I worked some overtime. And that's why we made a little bit more. So down here is your total column. And so we're budgeting that we're going to make about $4,000 that month, and we actually bring home $5,000. So that's fantastic. So savings, I do vacation fund. And this is my 52-week money jar, which I went over with all of you, so that I just budget in how much I'm going to be putting into that jar that month. We'll just say $196 for this month. And that usually, because that's part of, to me, that's part of like an envelope system, because I know exactly how much money I need to put in that month. So the actual amount will actually be the actual amount. So you could put that in ahead of time if you would like. And then we'll say emergency fund, because the step we are currently on now is fully funding our emergency fund, which I will get into later with you guys. But first we need to get you out of debt before we get to that step. So I'm not going to fill that in yet because I need to finish my budget before I can figure out how much I'm going to be able to put towards that emergency fund this month. So food, let's see, we do groceries. We should probably type in total there. We do groceries and dining out / entertainment. Okay, so basically for groceries, we'll say $400, which this is also a cash envelope system for us. So it's usually the actual amount we spend unless we need to adjust that, because remember, your budget is customizable. And we'll say we'll spend $150 total for dining out. Again, dining out is an envelope system for us, so I can actually put that amount in there. So we're in January. In insurance, I pay my insurance monthly. So we'll say Nicole's policy, and it's say $136 a month. So we can put that in there. And when I actually pay it, then I go ahead in here and I write down how much I paid. And Dan pays his every 6 months, which this is what's good with the monthly or the bill pay checklist that I shared with you guys, because that's where you write down all your bills for the entire year, when they're due, how much. So when you're working on that month, like say I think August his insurance is due, I would budget him in this category for August. But for right now, all we have is me, so that's all I'm going to have there. So this here is where you're going to type all of your monthly bills, and I don't want to take up everybody's time. So you would type in all your monthly bills: cable, internet, phone, water, electric, anything like that you pay monthly, and you're going to estimate about how much that bill costs. I know sometimes the water can be a little bit different depending on how much you use. So just budget it in, kind of go in between, look at what you've paid the last year on it, and kind of give yourself an idea of what you might spend a month on that. And then again, when you actually pay that bill that month, you want to sit down here and you want to put in that exact amount in this column that you spent on that month. So, and you always want to have a total at the end of all of these. So then, just type this in real quick so I can show you that. So we actually only did spend the $136 on the insurance, but the monthly bills is where it'll be a little different. So you're going to type down here, or write it in, that's fine too, like an estimate of what your monthly bills will be. We'll just throw a number in of $1,200, what I'm estimating all of my monthly bills will cost. But it actually ended up being, let's say, $1,100. So I actually didn't end up spending as much on my bills as I thought, which is actually a good thing. So let's go to the next one here, clothing. Dan gets allotted clothing every month, which is $50, and I also allot myself clothing every month, which is $50. And again, that is a budgeted envelope system for us. So I'm just kind of throwing ideas out there for you too of what I do for the envelope system. Same for gas. Dan gets gas, but I also just put our gas together. And then here is like car repairs. So gas, we'll say $320, car repairs $100. Again, these two items are envelope systems for us, so it's usually the actual amount that we end up spending that month. Okay, this column here for debts, we obviously no longer have debt, which is a fantastic thing, so I'm no longer need that category there, but you guys may, and that's absolutely fine, because here's just where you would list your debts. Like say for example, last year I had AES and Navient, which is school loans, and Navient was my least amount, so actually it was my highest, and so I was paying off that, or my AES first, because remember you want to go off the smallest loan and build yourself up to get your snowball rolling. So you'll just list your debts there, write your minimum payments in for those, and that's where, if you don't have the emergency fund section in your savings, this is where your extra money is going to be going. So say my minimum payment was $290 on that and $300 on Navient. You want to write that in for now, but remember, if you have any extra money after we finish this budget, that's where you're going to put your money. So you can actually leave that blank for now, because remember, we're just going to want to make the minimum payment on this for now and put all of our extra money on Navient, because that is the smallest loan. So miscellaneous category is just if you do have those mishaps and you have to swipe your card for something. Remember, always keep some money in your checking account so you don't have to have any overdraft fees or anything like that. So this is where if you would have an extra spending, make sure you type that in. Like say we accidentally spent a little bit at Walmart, I just type in $24 or whatever. But most of the time this is pretty blank or left blank, because we usually stick to our budget. Personal is other things I use for my envelope system, so I will actually share those with you. So let's see, household. This is for things like laundry detergent or body wash, things like that. Dan pocket money. I also give me pocket money. I'll just abbreviate that there. Bowling, because I am in a bowling league, so we prepare for that. It's like 4 or 5 months out of the year, so I only budget that in when I'm in bowling, which January I am. And again, you're always going to want a total column. Okay, so here is where you're going to budget in how much you think you want to spend in that category every month, and your actual is usually going to be the same, because remember, you want to try and keep your spending with the envelope system to whatever you put in there and not be borrowing from other envelopes and things like that. So at the very end of the month, then, you want to put in what your total monthly pay was, which we added that up and it was $5,000. And so then you want to go through and you want to put in everything that you spent. So add in all your totals of what you put into your vacation fund and what you put away for food, insurance, monthly bills, and add all of that up here, and you want to put it down here into your total spent. So let's just put a number in there that we spent $4,000 total that month. So that means we have $1,000 left over. So then what you want to do is take that $1,000 and you're going to go and put that on Navient, because that's the loan you're trying to pay off. Or in our case, we are going to put that onto our emergency fund, which is in the savings category. And we're going to be able to put $1,000 that month, hopefully more, because we're going to work some overtime. We under budgeted on things so that we would have extra money in the end. So again, here, you're actually not going to be putting $4,000 here, because you're going to want to go here and say that you're putting that $1,000 then into one of your debts, whatever it may be. So that will then bring your monthly spending to $5,000. So your total is $0. You evened out, and that is exactly what a zero-based budget is. So let me get back to my screen here. Okay, so I know that is probably a lot of information. This is a long video, but I just wanted to show that to you. You're absolutely more than welcome to use it. Please ask me if you have any questions. I am more than happy to answer them for you, because I know creating a budget can be very overwhelming, and I want to make sure you understand it. So throw anything at me. I'm going to figure out a system that's going to work for you, because I want this whole Total Money Makeover to work for you as well too. So I hope you liked this video. I apologize I took up your time, but I appreciate you watching it. Please like and subscribe to this if you liked it. Comment below, and have a great day.